Okay, so my name is Tasha, and should I say I'm nervous? I'm up to date in 3 states. Yeah. But my pictures, you can totally see the difference in my face. So there's the first one. The second one, I'm getting a little better, and then here's when I get my license. And I've been clean for, I don't know, a good year. And that's when I was in my first, maybe 5 months clean. How fat I was too. Oh. Repentance. No one is happier than the one who has sincerely repented of wrong. Repentance is a decision to turn selfish desires, which is addiction, and seek God, which I've done. It is a genuine, sincere regret that creates sorrow and moves us to admit wrong, which I did when I was in the hospital, and a desire to do better. A genuine repentance is a moving condition of the heart that is testified and demonstrated by our deeds, which I do. It's an inward conviction that expresses itself in an outward actions. Hello, here I am. You look at the love of God and you can't believe He's loved you like He has. And it motivates you to change your life. That is the nature of repentance. So my name is Tasha. I'm 39 years old, and I started using when I was 11. And I've been clean going on 2 years now. And my last drug of choice was heroin. We had just moved to California, had a new stepdad, a new little brother, and I had met some friends in my apartment complex, smoke weed stuff. So I experimented with that, and I had a babysitter, and she was taking lines of coke in the bathroom, and she said, "Do you want one?" And that was the first time that I ever used cocaine. I was 11.
I'm Darla Boone, the mother of Tasha Fortier, grandmother of Shayla Fortier, grandmother of Zachary Schwartz, and mother of Nolan Reynolds. She was very young, about 11 years old, and a lot of things happened in our family. Her dad and I got divorced, he got remarried, and I got remarried, He got a new baby boy, I got a new baby boy. And it was all really difficult for Tasha because she was 11 and she'd basically been an only child all those years. So the divorce was very traumatic for her and very difficult for her. And so a number of things happened with the divorce, and then there was a move from Washington State, where we're from, to California. And during that time, I noticed some very distinct changes in Tasha. She became withdrawn, depressed, and didn't want to socialize and get to know anybody in California.
And then I remember it well to this day, actually, because I remember coming home, and of course, no one's going to think that their 11-year-old daughter is using cocaine. But I remember my mom asked me if I was hungry, if I wanted some chips. And I tried to eat one, but my throat was so numb that I couldn't swallow it. And I was so nervous that maybe someone's going to know. And I said, oh no, I'll just go to my room. But I remember that first time, and I liked it. I liked it. I really did. I like cocaine. Cocaine and heroin, definitely my drug of choice.
One day, she asked if she could go roller skating, which she did often on Friday nights, and I went to pick her up like I would, and she wasn't there. And no one could find her. Nobody knew where she was at. And up until that day, she'd never really done anything that was wrong. She was always a really good kid. And she just didn't come home. And she'd gone on a motorcycle with a boy that was a little bit older than her down to the beach from where we lived. It was about 30 miles on the freeway. The next day, about 1 o'clock, she calls me and says, can you come and get me? And of course, since she'd never done anything wrong in her whole life to speak of, I thought the worst had happened. I thought she'd been kidnapped. And I was just hysterical. And that was the beginning.
I don't actually remember too much till I was 14. And then I was 14 and I went to an alternative high school. I guess I was 14, almost 15. And that's like when I got one of my first serious boyfriends. And he was older than me. He was 19. And, you know, he had a good paying job or whatnot. And on the weekends, you know, he would do coke. So I remember at 14 doing coke quite a bit with him. And there was a couple times where I couldn't hardly feel my body, or I was really scared, like I did too much. But I kept doing it. And then at 15, like the first guy I ever fell in love with, the first night I was with him, we probably did an 8 ball of cocaine, which is 3 grams. And I blacked out. I got so messed up drinking and doing coke. And so after that, I was on a huge coke run because, you know, he had a lot of money, and I was popular, and all the cool kids, you know, that's what they would do at parties. They'd go in the bathroom and snort coke, you know. And so, and you know, looking back at it today, you know, when I did all that, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It was really a violent, crazy, in love, drugs, you know. And he ended up, you know, beat me up really bad. I had to go to the hospital, you know. And several times I'd go back and forth to him, and then I'd come home, I'd get in a fight with my mom, and then I'd run back to him, get in a fight with him, go back. It was just crazy. And I quit school when I was 15.
I'm Nolan, Tasha's brother, and my first memories, you know, of Tasha are mostly like in Issaquah. I remember we lived in Issaquah, and she was just a wild child from everything I remember. She was always out and about with boyfriends, and she'd have boyfriends coming over to the house and their sports cars and whatever, and picking her up and peeling off and stuff like that. I remember she'd babysit me sometimes, and she'd take me with her, and I remember being in the back of some old like Chevy souped up car, and I'm sitting in the back seat. I was like 8 or 9 years old, and the guys must be going like 90 miles an hour just down some back road, you know. And I'm in the back, and the windows are down, and the wind's just blowing on me, and my hair is everywhere. So that's kind of how I remember my sister in the beginning.
And because she was such a young adolescent, I thought, well, you know, she's probably just going to go through a phase or a stage for a couple of years, maybe smoking pot or drinking or being wild. And I thought, you know, it's not good, but it's not uncommon. And but that didn't happen. She just kept going, and many, many things happened as a result to our family because of Tasha's addiction.
I'll say only 3.5. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's 3.5 or better.
Mm-hmm. With 3.5.
Oh yeah.
I think a 3.5 would be just as good as having a 4.0 because they don't judge it anymore after that.
Right.
But I already know what college I want to go to. I know for a fact I can get into it easily.
Where?
Chico State.
Chico State? Is that where your friends are going?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I have a bunch of my friends that are going. I'm trying to get a bunch of my friends to go too.
Where is Chico State?
It's like it's in Northern California. It's like by Sacramento.
Yeah.
And like it's a really cool college. Like my friend told me about it. It says it has everything there. And it's like a really good campus.
That's cool. What are you gonna study?
Probably business or science and chemistry. Like major in business and then do like chemistry or something like that.
Guys, I don't know where I did with the keys.
Well, think about it, because last night you parked.
I unlocked the door.
But you unlocked the door. You had the keys and unlocked the door, so then what? You walked in the house.
I know he's keeping them in my purse.
So you're gonna major in business?
Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna get my doctorate too. Go there for 8 years. Maybe not that school. I might switch to a better school after 4 years.
Just go to UW, man.
That's what I wanted. I want to do that. That's why I just want to go there for 4 years and then transfer into a really good school. And then be a doctor so I can just have the title of a doctor for the rest of my life so people think I'm legit and professional.
Shoot. They were in Grandma's room. You had the wrong keys.
Oh, I know.
Then when I was 17, my mom took me to dinner, and on my birthday I told her that I had been doing coke every day for the last year, and that I really need help. I want to go to treatment. And so that was the first time I went to treatment when I was 17. And I did okay for a while. I didn't use coke anymore. I still drank. And then I went back to that boyfriend that was abusive. And the last time that we were together, he was, hit me, beat me, hit me. And we were in the middle of nowhere, way out in the country. Way out in Cleon, which is mountains, And it was, like I said, it was pitch black. And he had beaten me up many times before. And we were in the middle of nowhere, and he said he was going to kill me and no one would ever find me. And I really believe that he probably was going to. He was in a rage, and that was the only way I could save myself, but I had no way of knowing how I could save myself because he was beating me as we were driving. He's hitting me. And yeah, so I pulled the steering wheel to save my life, not knowing what was going to happen. And hit the windshield, didn't go through it. I think my breasts maybe saved me. I didn't have a seatbelt on, and my head went into the windshield. So, but then that was the end of that relationship finally. Not long after that is when I met my daughter's dad, Donnie. He was 19, and I met him. He was actually going out with my best friend, and I don't know, they were having problems breaking up or whatever. And he asked me for a ride home one day, and then after that we just started hanging out like every day, and I'd only been hanging out with him maybe 4 months, and I got pregnant with my daughter. And then after I got pregnant, you know, it was a big decision. Should I keep her? Should I have an abortion? Should I put her up for adoption? Nobody, you know, was helping, like, it, but I don't know, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get an abortion. I couldn't do the adoption. That it was like my baby, and I'm keeping my baby.
And because she was so messed up on drugs, and so was Shayla's dad, they weren't able to take care of her, so I ended up having to rearrange my life for Tasha and to live with me and my son Nolan, who was just a little boy at that time, and Don Howard, Shayla's father, and it just continued to progress. So after Shayla was born, shortly after Shayla was born, Tasha realized that as much as she tried, she couldn't care for her baby because she was always high. And so I ended up taking care of Shayla. I ended up raising Shayla her whole life. She's now 19.